Welcome to the Self-Care for the Creative podcast, where we talk self-care strategies for creatives. We also talk mindset, wellness, personal growth, and artist development within the music industry. I'm your host, Stefani Fryzel. I'm an artist, author, and creative coach, and the founder of Stefani Fryzel Coaching, where we help artists, songwriters, and producers increase their impact, income, and visibility within a year with our artist development program. This season, we are diving deep into calling forth your next level. I'm so glad you're here. My next guest is a multi-award-winning 26 times platinum selling music executive, professional keynote speaker, and the founder of Music Industry Mentor, a coaching platform for creatives where she shows them how to grow an engaged audience online and monetize their talents. She's spoken at leading industry stages such as South by Southwest, The Great Escape, and beyond. She's worked with the likes of Drake, Post Malone, Jessie Ware, The Script, Leonard Cohen, and more. Please welcome my next guest, Atlanta Cobb. Welcome to the Self-Care for the Creative podcast. My next guest is an amazing music mentor, and I can't wait to get into all different discussions about artist development, coaching, mindset, all of the goodies. Please welcome Atlanta, who's joining us from Spain.
Yeah, I am in Spain. By the time you listen to this, I'll probably be in a different country. Moving around the place. Yeah.
Hopefully with power. Yeah.
Hopefully. Yes. Yeah. We were just talking about how the whole country lost power this week. So fingers crossed that doesn't happen again. That was a one-time thing.
Yeah. Surviving the apocalypse.
It's still going.
Yeah. So just to quickly give us an introduction and maybe give us your backstory, tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and how you got in the music industry.
Yeah, it has been quite the journey. I will try and condense this story as much as possible, but I have essentially been working in music my entire life. I started out very young when I was around sort of 15 years old, actually in New York. Backstage at a Florence Machine show in Central Park, where I met Florence through managing her first fan-made fan page. Just started out as a super fan in school and then kind of took the opportunity to, I met Florence backstage and met her management, and then they ended up inviting me to come and work with them that summer. They were heading into an album campaign. Her team needed a bunch of help. So I essentially would end up skipping school, going up to London to just do a lot of unpaid work experience at that age, and then managed to use that as a bit of leverage on my resume. And then I used that to get me a bunch of other work experience. I ended up skipping school and college and university a bunch of different times to join the circus. Yeah, I'll come back. I've never really been academic anyway, so I was like, the chances of me getting a degree at this point are probably quite low, but I'm very good at the practical stuff and talking to people. So I ended up sort of quitting a lot and coming back. And so I would go and study music at a college, and I actually started out as a musician too. I was in and out of bands. First learned the piano and guitar when I was about 8 years old. Side note and funny story on this and how life works in very, very strange ways is that one of the most defining moments that ended up turning my life into going after the music industry and picking up a guitar was, young Atlanta, maybe 7, 8 years old. The movie School of Rock came out with Jack Black, and there's Katie on the bass. So it's like young girl, same age as me, playing the bass guitar. And there I was, like impressionable 8-year-old. I was like, oh my God, like that girl. I want to be that girl. I want to be Katie on the bass. Rivka Reyes, who plays Katie. I want to be her. So that was the moment where I was like, I'm picking up a guitar and I'm going to play guitar too. Cut to like 20 years later, literally last year, friend of a friend ends up meeting Rivka Reyes, who plays Katie at a cowboy show in LA or something, line dancing. And the next minute they're living in New York. I happen to be in New York in October, and then cut to I'm in a karaoke booth duetting Defying Gravity with Rivka Reyes, who is the whole reason that I'm in the music industry in the first place. I was just like sat there. Four people in a karaoke booth, and I was like, oh, Riv doesn't know. She doesn't know she's the reason. that I'm in music my entire life because she was playing the bass guitar. So that's a funny little story there. But yeah, essentially have been just working in music, done all sorts of things, Eurovision, all the way to independent artist management, to marketing at Columbia Records, working with huge artists, Leonard Cohen's last album before he croaked. Bless him. And then The Script and Tom Odell, and then moved over to Island Records, worked on Post Malone's debut UK #1 record, worked on a Drake album, Jessie Ware album. And then I kind of got to that point where I was like, I don't just want to do marketing at a label. I want to be in the field. I want to be working closely with artists. I missed that element of it. I wanted to get out of the office. So I quit and then went into a job in artist management with a new artist at the time who was re-signing their second major record deal at Polydor called Becky Hill. And then she ended up doing amazing things, top 10s, Radio 1 A-list, 2 BRIT Awards, and then another artist, Ella Henderson, where I ended up managing her. And then, truth be told, I got super burnt out at that job. I quit, and this is kind of around 2022 at this point. So at this point, I've been working in the industry for over 10 years, and I was just exhausted. It just been go, go, go for so long. And, you know, we all know what it's like in the industry, hence this podcast. And I was like, I'm tired. I haven't stopped. And, you know, I was getting kind of older in my 20s too. And I was kind of looking ahead in the future. And I really was like, I don't think this is the life that I want for myself. I'm working like 7 days a week. I can't get a break. And I was like, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of everything. So I kind of really did a full reset. I quit and I just went fully in on myself. I took months out just to travel. I call it my Eat, Pray, Love, Julia Roberts era. So I went and did that. I lived in Italy for a month. I went traveling all around the world. I went to the US a bunch, all the way to Istanbul. And I had a lot of time on my hands. So this was kind of 2022. Still TikTok is booming. And I was watching in front of my eyes. I was like, oh, I see what's happening here. I've got a bunch of friends around me who are YouTubers, and they've never really had to kind of get their heads down and properly grind and work in like a 9 to 5. And they've had freedom to create and work on their own terms, all through the power of creating content through YouTube.
Totally. Yeah.
And then build businesses off of it. And I was like, oh, I see how this is like changing lives, and it's changed artists' lives and everything. But I missed that wave when I was in school because I was too scared of what people would think of me picking up a camera. So I passed the opportunity and my life took a different turn. So the second wave is hitting, and I'm looking at this wave coming and approaching, and it's TikTok. And I was like, I should probably catch this wave because if I miss the second wave, it may not happen again for another 10 years.
Right.
And it's kind of now or never. So I just went fully in. I just started making TikTok I started making content of traveling because I was traveling, wasn't in music. And then again, life does weird things. One day randomly, I had an idea about a song that sounded the same. It was a Lady Gaga song that sonically sounded the same as a Lizzo song. And my brain was TikTok brain because I'd been making content all summer. So the thought process was, I'm probably shouldn't make this piece of content because I've just built 10,000 followers off of travel content. Why would I make that piece of content? That doesn't make sense. That's about music. I'm not in the music industry. I've just quit. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm never coming back to music.
Right.
And then got on the bus, literally got on the bus. And then the other part of my brain was like, dude, just post it anyway. What's the worst that could happen? Whatever. Got home that day, immediately filmed it, edited it, posted it, and went to sleep. The next morning, woke up, over 1 million views and floods of people being like, this is so good, blah, blah, blah. We want part 2, we want part 3, part 4. Turned it into a series, and literally based off of that one video going viral immediately. And I was also sitting there like, obviously it's the one video about music that goes viral. It's not the travel stuff, music stuff.
It's like you're calling, it's pulling you back for another reel.
It just drags me back. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll just keep doing this. And then it sort of hit, and I was like, oh, I am sitting on over 10 years worth of industry knowledge, and I'm just going to let it all go to waste. There's all these people out there who I could genuinely help.
For sure.
And also at this point, I'm not working at a company. I'm not under NDA. I can get on camera and start sharing the real stuff. Yeah. Like, no one's stopping me at this point. So I did. And I did that for months and months and months. And then literally supply on demand. I was getting DMs and messages of people just being like, I love what you're doing. How can I work with you? Do you offer coaching? Do you offer one-to-ones? At this point, I was like, the plan was never to be music industry mentor. It was never to offer coaching.
It happened.
It fully has happened. So now I'm in year 3, and yeah, life is just it's just doing this. And
this is such a great story. I love the whole backstory. I love how you got into music, what inspired you, the full circle moment, the fact that you were, you know, on one side of the industry and then you were like, that's it. I'm exhausted. I'm quitting. I'm doing my eat, pray, love moment. And then all of a sudden this like magical moment happened and then kind of gave you a second wave, invigorated a whole new pathway for you. So thank you for sharing that story. It's such an awesome story. I'm like, I was so excited to get into it. I was just like, I need to know the backstory, like, because, you know, you kind of answered my next question was, you know, was there a specific reason why you chose music mentorship? But it kind of sounds like it ended up choosing you.
Honestly, I say to, like, I joke about it with friends. I'm like, I kind of made a job up for myself, because still when I was starting out doing coaching in music, especially, it was very few people were doing it. There's been a lot more kind of in the last couple of years, but it really has just been birthed out of just this one-time opportunity. And I was like, oh, this makes sense. I love doing this. And it kind of dawned on me, it wasn't the job at the time that I hated. And that's not why I left. I loved the job. It was just the circumstances surrounding it. And I just wasn't happy. So now I'm working in a job that I enjoy doing. I can work with people who I love working with. I can choose when I want to work. I can have freedom to work. I travel around the world. And I think that's always been the biggest thing for me that was missing, was like, I want to do the thing I love, but I want to do it on my own terms.
Yes.
And it just so happened to be timing worked out as well. And I saw the opportunity. And this is why I always say to my clients about luck, is that when people say to me, oh, you're so lucky, I'm like, I kind of feel like I've always sort of made my own luck, because you drill it down. It's like, I was ready for that video to go viral. And if that video went viral and I hadn't prepped, I wasn't ready, and I wasn't in a place to run like the wind with that opportunity, the opportunity would have passed me by. And therefore this luck wouldn't have been birthed.
Right.
And I wouldn't have springboarded off of that and built a coaching business and helped thousands of musicians go and quit their jobs and move into music full time. All because of that canon event. And so, yeah, I think it's everything is, we say often, like, you're always meant to be where you're meant to be. So yeah, I'm a big believer in that. But yeah, I think the thing that's kept me in coaching for so long is realizing actually how much I can help people from afar. And I was looking at artist management and I was thinking, well, I'm only really sort of impacting maybe 1 or 2 people. Whereas if I do coaching, I can impact thousands of people. Thousands. Exactly. And that, to me, I'm like, that's huge.
Yeah, I want to change lives. Yeah, I want to change lives and make a huge impact. I mean, that's legacy. It's like building your legacy, because that's going to precede you. And like, it's just so much more rewarding to know that you've been able to go through what you went through, learned what you learned, and be able to pass it on and, help people make those breakthroughs. Yeah. So how would you describe your coaching style for people that are working with you and in your programs and things like that? Is there like a specific way or process or coaching style? How would you describe that?
Yeah, fully. So I offer a platinum artist coaching program. So that's kind of like my flagship program. And I say it's custom coaching because it kind of has to be at this point. And I've worked through various kind of iterations of what platinum artist is. But I've tend to find often is that so many people join and they are all in kind of different stages of their careers. They all want different things as well. We have kind of enrollment calls and I say to them immediately, I'm like, no judgment. Tell me, where do you want to get this thing to? How big do you want to get it? Do you just want this to be a side gig? Do you want to make a bit of money on the side? Do you want to be selling out stadiums? And no wrong or right answer, but that helps me tell you and know where to get you from A to B.
Yes.
So and I've never really led with courses. I've built an additional course just as part of a membership and my program, but that's just like as an additional stuff you can watch.
Cool. Yeah.
But that's not really the main thing ever. It's very custom, very much hand-holding, one-to-one support. Yeah. And I kind of almost say it's like I'm your artist manager in your pocket, but without taking 20% of your income. And so like I was on.
Good point.
Yeah. And that's it, because there's so much that you can extract from my brain, and all the way from they can send me their TikToks to review and I can be like, okay, try this, and I can go through and audit their social media on calls, or we have one-to-one access. Literally was just on with a platinum artist before him. Like we're voice noting each other and I'm tailoring their Spotify pitches. They sent me their goal planner. I literally was like, send me your goal planner. I'll write your goals. I tidied the whole thing up. It is so in-depth and custom.
Yeah.
And I think that's always coming from a place. And it's 6 months. And then I offer like 10 lifetime features as well. So when they join, they get to keep like so much of it, except for like the access to me on demand for one-to-ones, because that then gets limited with my time. But I sit there and I'm like, why not give all that? Because I can. Right. And to me, I'm like, I'm always sitting here like, I give as much as I possibly can because I don't see why not. And it's probably easier for me to maybe offer like a quick sort of 6-week program. But to me, I'm sitting here from a place of like, I know how long this shit takes. Exactly. And we're going to need at least 6 months for me to get embedded into your project, know it fully throughout, like holistically, and get you up and away. So the point is, you don't need me anymore, and you don't need anyone. You don't need a gatekeeper. You're filled with 6 months of all the knowledge, and you can tap into DMs one-to-one. So it's very like
equip them. You want to equip them with tools and skills that they can walk away with. Obviously, if they want to keep coming back, but like you want to arm them so that they can make empowered decisions with their career. Yeah. I love how generous that feels and how like abundance mindset that feels, because I feel like that definitely lacks a lot of the time in this industry. And, my next question is, when you're coaching with artists and songwriters, what are the biggest mindset blocks that you come up against over and over and over again? Is there one that like repeats itself?
Oh, there's so many. And you know what, Stephanie, I've ended up having to coach mindset so much. It's actually one of the biggest things I end up coaching first before we get into all the other sticky stuff like social media strategy and marketing release timelines and all that stuff, because there are so many roadblocks there. And I call them friction points, essentially. And a friction point is the thing that stops you from doing the thing you want to do. That's all it is. I mean, you can apply that to anything. Why aren't you making the social media content you want to make? Okay, what are the friction points? Is it your self-doubt? Is it the imposter syndrome? Are you lacking creative ideas? Is it your environment? So much of my job has ended up being unpicking negative beliefs and artists talking themselves out from just making the moves and doing the thing. Yeah. So genuine, regular comments I get on calls in terms of mindset would be, I'm going to be posting too much to annoy my friends and family. Everyone's going to see my content. It's going to be annoying. I'm going to be repetitive. And I'm like, nope, you are the only person that sees 100% of your content. Everyone else, not going to see it. They're going to see a slice of it. You are the only one that sees everything you do. So there's a lot of that. A lot of people think that, I'm promoting too much and I'm going to annoy people. It's like, nope, you're not. Generally, you're not. People are going to see a slice of it.
Genuinely, yeah. There's only like a percentage, right? Like just like very tight. Yeah, and you mentioned earlier on the call that you even yourself had almost like a mindset block with like picking up the camera and being seen and being visible and going out there with your message and stepping into your next level, powerful self. So what was that turning point like for you when you just decided, fuck it, I'm going to put my face out there, I'm going for it, I'm going to be seen, I'm going to be visible. And how has that helped you coach your clients?
Yeah. So there's two things. So I call it the whatever it takes mode. It's essentially when you are so sick and tired of all of this shit, and you are in the dip and you're sitting there and you're like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not putting this off. I'm not procrastinating more. I'm sick and tired of nothing happening. And then you get into this whatever it takes mode where you're like, I am going to do whatever it takes to get this thing up and out, get the social media growing. And it's kind of like a commitment to yourself. And that's what happened to me, really. I remember it very, very clearly. I was sitting on the beach back home in the UK, having an absolute total mare. I was completely lost. This is before my social media took off. Completely lost. I quit my job. I'd left music, and that's such a huge part of my identity. And I just left an industry, and I was like, what do I do?
Yeah, what do I do? What do I like? What? Yeah.
I don't know how to do anything else but music, but I don't want to come back to it. I was so lost. And I was sitting on the beach, and I was like, I know if I just build something on social media and the audience come through, the opportunities come through. I know that's what happened here.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I need to stop getting out of my head. I need to stop being so negative here. I'm spiraling and spiraling, whatever it takes mode. And I just literally just went into like full focus mode for 6 months. And I just got my head down. And I was like, I'm going to post every single day until I figure this out. And also the other thing as well, and this is really where I do relate with a lot of artists they come to me and they're so scared of making content. And they're like, I'm not an influencer. I don't want to make content. And I'm like, you're not an influencer. You are a musician who is just sharing your art into the world. And a musician's job is to entertain their audience. That fundamentally is what our jobs are. Creators, entertainers. We get on stage, we entertain. And all we're doing now is just getting on stage. It's just in front of a screen, but we still are entertaining the world. And that's all it is.
Yeah.
And let's just say you do that and you get over this kind of block that's like, oh, I don't want to do this. There's the resistance block to you.
Friction point.
Yeah, friction point of like, this just feels like too much work, or I don't want to do social media because I hate social media, or I don't want to be an influencer. What if you reframed it and you were like, what if I just committed to just giving it a go? What's the worst that could happen?
Yes.
And the other question is also, and this is the other question that I said to myself on that day on the beach, where I was like, no more of this. I'm not doing this. I'm not entertaining these negative thoughts anymore. Is it giving TikTok a go for 6 months, just committing to it? 6 months, that's it. And if it doesn't work out, I'll get a 9 to 5. I'll do something else. What will my future self thank me for? Is it just giving it a go and really committing to it and learning and getting better at the craft and doing the research and really doing it, not just posting for the sake of posting? Or is it not doing anything?
Right.
I was like, well, there's my answer. So I was like,
answer.
Just give it a go. Just give it a go.
Yeah.
And so I've kept all my old videos on my music industry mentor page. And if you scroll all the way down, you will see they're terrible quality. I'm nowhere near as confident as I am now speaking to camera. Nowhere near. I'm really shy. You can just see I'm just like this. And it was just so awkward. You'll see the progression.
Yeah, the progression is real.
Yeah. And bear in mind, I'm an artist manager. I've got music industry connections of 10 years in my contacts book. And you know what TikTok does? It makes your content go right in front of the people who have your mobile phone number. Whether you follow each other or not, it will show up. And I already knew that. So I was like, there are going to be people at Warner Music seeing this, Sony Music seeing this, Universal seeing this, Atlantic, like everyone in the industry.
Oh, that's so funny because like it's like the gremlins coming right for you, right? The self-limiting, all that stuff comes out the second you decide you're going to be a different person. And so knowing that is part of the process, knowing that, just expect it. Expect the gremlins to come after you. Expect the self-limiting beliefs to try to hold you down and keep you safe and keep you in the same patterns and the same routines. And so my next question is, I'm sure you can relate to this 100% because, we're the type of people that are, value self-growth, self-development, progression, progression over perfection, especially. There's a lot of people that are in your life for a season and that's it. Yeah. And when you're growing, some of those people just they're not there. They're not the person for you. They don't inspire you. They don't uplift you. And then you just start to gravitate towards the people that are doing what you're doing, relate to what you're doing, putting themselves out there, making those risks. So what would you tell an artist who's doing the work and coming up against, I can't hang out with that person anymore. I got to get rid of that self-limiting belief. How do you tell them to keep going?
Yeah, that's definitely something I've experienced. Absolutely is what happens when you get to this point in your life where you are moving in and you're transforming into this new higher level self of being. You're going to ultimately shed away a few people and you have to really learn to be okay with that and not feel like you got to hold on to absolutely everything and everyone. And sometimes it's going to feel pretty lonely when you get people dropping off. But it's having that kind of awareness of going, like, I'm on this big, big journey of self-growth now, and these people aren't. And if they can't meet you in the same place, if you ever leave an interaction with them and you're feeling kind of less about yourself. And another thing that I've also noticed is when you share wins and you share any achievements, notice how people react as well. You're going to have some people who are going to lift you up, be your biggest cheerleader, biggest fan, and be so happy that you are achieving some of your biggest dreams. And then there are going to be people who are silent, don't say anything. silently watch your Instagram stories. And these could be people that you've known for years.
Yes.
And you don't hear anything. And then slowly they stop wanting to hang out with you. They stop wanting to message you because they are looking at your life through a lens on social media. And they're looking at you going after your dreams and doing the thing. And they're not doing it.
Right.
And
it reminds them. It reminds them that they're not doing it. So
it's a reflection. Yeah. So it's
reflection.
It's a really, it's been a really interesting time kind of going through it myself as someone who is like inherently a people pleaser, to have to kind of leave that and go, actually, I'm just really just getting my head down, focusing on myself, improving myself, and just leading
on my life
with, focusing, just doing my little tasks and leading with love. And that's, I think that's all you can absolutely do. And people will join you for the ride. And it's really interesting. Everyone who is still with me and the people that have come into my life ever since kind of taking the leap, leaving the major label lifestyle that I was in to more independent, it has been so interesting to see who's stuck with and who has stayed. And the people that stayed are just genuinely the loveliest people, all championing each other, all out there like on their hustle, doing their own thing, and they get it. And the other people that have left just aren't, and we've just grown apart, and that's also okay. But it's, I think it's for the individual embarking on this journey, I think it's just understanding that if that happens to you, it is okay. And not everyone will stay. It's just literally is just a part of the process. And it's just making way for new, incredible people to come in. And they have people are coming in who are such a high level and are so well therapized and can communicate and are well accomplished, and just people who, we're on the same wavelength now. And I've got really lovely community around me, and it's awesome.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that, because that's something that I've definitely had to go through in the last couple of years, at least like on my own journey with just like up-leveling and trying new goals and writing a book. I never didn't know how to write a book. I was like, I'm in music. What am I doing? I'm not an author, whatever, going on that journey, you come across other people. You have to decide to put yourself in the room with people who have done that journey, who have made those decisions, who have changed their habits, their thoughts, their lifestyle, so that it all aligns with what they're going after. And not everyone does that.
No.
That is the difference. That is the difference, you know? So I feel like I could talk to you for like a whole other hour, but I know we're like almost at time. So let me just hit you with a couple extra quick takeaways before we get you out of here. Let's talk about a few tips, tricks, strategies, tools. There's two parts for this. Number one, what are your top 3 tips for personal branding, building your personal brand?
So top 3 tips are, number 1, cap how much research you do on what everyone else is doing. I think it's really easy to fall into an echo chamber of constantly comparing yourself to what other people are creating. And that can really influence your own creativity. So what I've always done is I research to see what is doing well in my niche, and then I cap the amount of time that I'm spending there. I don't follow any of my kind of competitors because I don't want to be influenced by what they're creating, because then we just mirror each other. So I research to see what's doing well. I study it. Then I take that and I apply my own creative, unique perspective on it. Number 2 is have a very defined why. I think it's really easy to lose sight of your why. Why are you doing this? What's the end goal here? What are you building? I know so many people want to build a personal brand, but why? Like, what is the mission? Yeah. And it's all well and good having loads of followers and loads of views, but followers and views aren't going to mean anything if you aren't very clear on what that defined mission is. And then I think number 3, having and entering into it with a very long-term mindset and being open to things deviating, having to iterate your content a lot, trying stuff out, and separating the emotion from the outcome, I think is a really important thing, because it's going to test you. Building a global audience, building a community who love you does take time. And I see so many clients come to me and all with the same things. I want to grow my social media, or I want to just grow it and it's not happening fast enough. And I think what's happening and what I see now in today's world, especially in the Western world, is we are so used to things happening so instant. We can open up Spotify, access to 1 million songs instantly. We can text, call people, speak to them immediately. We can order food. It will be there within 15 minutes. Amazon Prime, next day delivery. Everything is on demand and instant. And so what that's happening, I mean, chat GPT. We don't even know
Yeah.
what's that's going to happen to the
Right.
brain.
Right.
Like,
I know.
what humans, I mean,
Literally.
to adapt that far.
I know.
It's
Oh my
wild.
God.
So
Oh God.
I'm sort of sitting here and I'm seeing like, oh, this, like everything going on around us, like the speed of everything, the human brain is not adapting fast enough. And so what's happening is things like TikTok are born. It completely blows up in the social media world because when TikTok was birthed, anyone could create low lift content, super low grade, barely any effort put into it, not really thought about it, whack it up, next day, 1 million views. Now, a few years down the line, it's more competitive. You just don't grow that fast. It's going to take the reps. Right. Same thing happened to Instagram when it first started. So what that's happening is everything, you take all of that into consideration. People start this journey. They want to build an audience, but they are coming into it, starting off, having used to instant gratification, instant dopamine hits, and the instant results.
Right away, right?
Yeah.
So that's where people get
and
trapped.
that's that honestly, that alone is like the biggest thing that stops people from being consistent, going like,
they want to see the result right away. And you're like, oh, well, if I didn't see the result, okay, well, I guess it doesn't work, right? They just immediately are like, let's just quit. It's not working. It's easy to get into that self-limiting belief or the friction point again and just be like, okay, well, it's not for me, right? It's not, you make up all these stories about why it's not working, right? So, okay, before we take off, this is a self-care podcast. So I want to know, what do you do for your own self-care, and what would you recommend your artists and songwriters do for their self-care?
Yeah, so I think you need to first of all find a routine that works for you. So that includes figuring out what time of day you're most productive. As a rule of thumb, I don't take calls before midday ever, because I know I'm not a morning person. You're never going to see me on Zoom before midday. It's not going to happen. I
need a list of things before I do anything.
So that, for me, that's just what works. So finding a routine that works for you, finding what hours work for you as and when you can, really recommend that. Don't just feel like you got to do all these crazy early morning routines because that's what all the millionaires do or whatever you see online. If it doesn't work for you, that's also okay. So that's number one. Number two is put as many screen time caps as you can on your devices. So I have timers all the time reminding me, get off the phone. You spend an hour on TikTok scrolling, get off, stop. You can even go as far as getting a physical. There's a company called BRIT who offers a physical block on your phone. You can leave it in your car so you can't physically unlock your phone or certain apps. Anything where possible to limit screen time so you're not constantly scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. I have another thing as well. It's called CEO mode. It's literally on my phone right now. I'm looking at it. It's called CEO mode. My phone is pretty much permanently set to that mode. It is a custom mode on my iPhone. So, you swipe up, you've got sleep, work mode, whatever. I created a custom one that basically silences all notifications except from like my partner and my mother or something if there's an emergency.
I need this. I need this in my life.
It's amazing.
Today, right now.
It never buzzes.
Okay.
If people need me, they're on my emergency list and they have to ring me twice. They know you got to double dial me and then it'll go through to my phone. So anyone who just calls me once, it doesn't buzz. So again, I've created a system in my life where I don't want to be spending my time on the phone or whatever. And I've just eliminated so much of those notifications.
Totally. You're like, I don't need so much distraction, eliminating the distraction. And first of all, being aware of the distraction. A lot of people aren't even aware of the distraction. So to be like, okay, this is distracting me. Let's put a limit on that.
Absolutely. It completely kills your creativity. And so I think in a world where we are reliant on creativity to create music and then create content, we need headspace for that. And all of this, it's not going to help. So essentially protecting your peace, that's a big thing. And then final thing is once a week throughout the year, I will take 7 days off. I will go somewhere completely remote and I will just cut myself off from the world just for headspace. Because I live a world where my entire life is online. I had a digital business. So I just take 7 days. It's my complete reboot. And last time I went to the Highlands of Scotland, I've been to Ireland, I've been all over the world. I just 7 days off, no screens, nothing. And I would just sort of immerse myself in books or nature and just like really reset the system. So I recommend doing something like that.
I love that because I actually have a similar practice. My husband and I go up to Crestline, Big Bear in California. when we want to get out of LA and we just rent a cabin. And I do this thing where I put my phone in the kitchen drawer for the 9 days that we're there. And I'm just, I tell my people, I'm like, you're not going to hear from me for the next 3 days or 9 days. You're not going to hear from me. So if you, and I give them my husband's number and I'm like, if you really need me, you know, that's where I am. And, you know, when I tell people that story, some people are like, what? You put your phone away for 9 days? How do you live? And like, there's like a pure anxiety the second I'm about to put the phone in the drawer. But then once I'm done and I've settled in and I'm like, okay, we're going to be present in the world. We're going to tap in. We're going to check in. We're going to take that time and space for yourself because we're so inundated all the time. All the time. So
it's crazy, especially in like cities like LA or London or New York. It's so fast paced. You need that time away. And I will say the one good thing about that entire nationwide power cut on Monday was we were forced to not be on screens.
Yeah.
And it was lovely. Like, literally my partner and I just like, we went to the rooftop and we just looked at the stars and we were like, this is lovely. What are we all doing? Why are we so concerned about the whole country lost power? And our immediate thoughts were like, we can't send emails. And I'm like, why are we worrying? What are we doing? So yeah, get off screens, guys. Like just take like a day a week if you can. Just do so because it's so important to limit that access.
Amazing. This was such a lovely conversation. Thank you for the time. I appreciate it. Let's close this out with one minor one. Is there a piece of advice you give yourself at the beginning of your career? Just one little piece. One little tiny piece. Baby Atlanta.
So I grew up as a very worried and anxious child. And when I was 18, there was a song that I just absolutely fell in love with. Still one of my favorite songs today. It's called Resolution by Matt Corby. It's an Australian dude. And he has a line in the song that says, control your fear. And I loved it so much because I was in this kind of, you know, I just come off the back of, you know, running up to London, working at London Fashion Week when I was 15, Florence's team, and like doing these like really scary things for a 15-year-old to do on their own. And I was always going up to do these things, listening to the song, and it would always stick out, control your fear. So I ended up getting that tattooed on me. And still today, I think about it often because all the time, like I get these kind of pangs of fear of like, oh, this feels a little bit too big for me, or the imposter syndrome, or like, the fear starts creeping in. And so I think that's really the biggest lesson I've kind of taken with me my whole career is like, feel the fear, just go and do it, you know, control that fear, like bottle it up and just go and do it. Because if you let fear in the driver's seat of your life, you're never just going to go and do the thing you want to do. Even now, approaching my 30s, I still have the fear, but I'm just getting better at managing the fear and acknowledging the fear and going, you know what, fear, I'm just going to take you out of the driver's seat. I'm just going to put you in the passenger seat there. And I'm going to drive. I'm going to drive my life. Okay. I'm in the driver's seat. And so, yeah, kind of like mentally getting over that has been a big thing for me and just biggest hack. Because I think it's so easy to let the fear control you and talk you out of doing the thing. Sending the email to the CEO, or applying for the job that you don't think you're necessarily qualified for, or applying to the festival or show that you don't think you'll get, or the funding because you don't think you're ready. Like all of that is fear in the driving seat. And when you let that go, your world just opens up like massively. And I honestly think that's one of the biggest hacks, allowing me to get to where I am. It's so fast. I'm all under 30. Yeah. I've been able to do what I do, all because I'm just like, fuck it, let's just do it. Yeah, control the fear. Fuck around, find out like what's the worst that's gonna happen. So it's kind of it.
That's so lucky that you bring that up, because I've been thinking about that so much, especially recently, is that I've been using the fear as the clue as to what I'm supposed to do next. So I'm looking for fear. I'm like, what scares me? Yeah. Oh, that's the thing I got to do next, because that's the thing that's going to get me out of the comfort zone, bring in that next breakthrough. So I totally agree with you. And I've been treating fear lately as like, oh, that's my next clue. So I pay attention. What am I afraid of? The thing that scares you a little bit, but excites you at the same time. Absolutely. That's like, oh, what could happen if it works out, right?
Yeah. And that's how you grow. Yeah. Fear becomes your friend, and then you get used to being comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that's exactly it. And that was the biggest warning sign that led up to me quitting my job in artist management, where I was like, I'm too comfortable and I'm not growing because I know this job like the back of my hand. So it's time to get going.
Time to go. Yeah.
Throw myself into something that's scary. But dude, like the amount of growth I've done in that short amount of time, all because I'm just threw myself into going, this is scary. It feels like the house is on fire, but it's okay. I'll figure it out. I'll pull the fires out.
We'll get extinguishers. Don't worry about it.
That's it. Yeah.
Atlanta, this was such an amazing conversation. Thank you so much for Richie. Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. If you're an artist, songwriter, or producer looking to rise to your next level, come join us at the Songwriter Series for music mentorship from hit songwriters. Or join us at our annual Hitmakers Songwriting Retreat this October in Los Angeles. For more info on all our events, visit stefanifryzel.com or just email us at info@stefanifryzel.com. For more self-care gems, check out my book, Self-Care for the Creative. And don't forget, self-care is always within reach, and your greatest masterpiece will always be you.